FM News Talk 97.1.
On-demand audio.
Right now joining me is a very strong voice in the Missouri State Legislature. We have House Speaker Tim Jones on the phone. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thanks for your time today.
Good afternoon, Dana. It's great to be on with you again. Thank you for having me.
Of course. It's good to speak with you. I wanted to get your opinion on this story that's kind of blown up involving this Senate Bill 456, which, Red State this morning wrote that it was a shell bill for Medicaid expansion. There are a lot of constituents out there that have a lot of concerns because, and you were a very strong supporter of Prop C and Prop E as well, and these passed by huge majorities in Missouri. Missourians don't like any aspect of Obamacare. So to see this legislation filed by Senator Mike Parson just recently, it was kind of it took some of us by surprise. It was a little bit of a shock. What's your reaction to this?
Well, Dana, I don't exactly know what the senator's motives was in that. I do know that there's a lot of conversation going on in Jeff City right now, of course, about Medicaid, because the governor, after he was elected, threw that giant hot mess onto our laps by proposing the largest expansion of the program, ever in our state, which would end up costing us, I believe, billions of dollars down the line. I think it's an unsustainable plan. And as you probably saw last week, to prove that point, I sent the Democrats' Medicaid expansion bill to a House committee, which promptly heard it and that very same day voted it down.
Right.
And so we wanted to put that to the end. Now, if we want to talk about Medicaid reform and transformation, I'm happy to talk about that. But, Dana, I don't want down the line to have Missourians on the hook for more government entitlements that we already can't afford.
Right. And that's exactly what it is. That's an issue of reform versus expansion. And and there are a number of Republicans in states all over the country that are facing this in their legislatures. States can't afford this. And there's nothing done to actually ensure that they can. It's just here, go ahead and assume all of this extra responsibility, and we're going to even make it more difficult for it to be affordable.
And, Dana, let me tell you about the bizarro land we live in now, and where I really need the help of your entire audience and anybody who is a common sense person, whether you call yourself a conservative or not, common sense people. We need more of them to engage and help us out, because the hospitals in our state, they're doing the same thing. We're having the sequester drama here in Missouri in the sense of Medicaid expansion, right? So all the hospitals are running around Pollyanna-ish saying, tomorrow, all the hospitals are going to close down, and people are going to be dying in the streets, and we're going to have to shut everything off. And I'm sure the hospitals are going to undergo some pain, but we're all undergoing pain because Obamacare has done nothing for our healthcare system other than cause premiums to continue going up. So you hit the nail on the head. How is throwing millions and billions of more dollars at a system that healthcare providers and hospitals will agree is broken? How is that going to help people get better health care?
Yeah, exactly. Now,
so hospitals are co-opting all the chambers in the state, all the business groups. Some very conservative groups are falling for this. Oh, free money means better health care and more jobs. See, that's the governor realized free health care wasn't selling very well, so he's turned it into a jobs bill now.
Yes,
and it's very dangerous and it's very bad.
That was a nice pivot that he's trying to do with that, because everyone responds to that. It's to just try to reframe the entire discussion. Now, you do you have a group that's looking at this Senate Bill 456? Because I heard from Senator Tom Dempsey earlier that the committee, I was curious as to what committee this would be referred. And he said that it looks as though it's going to be referred to the Standing Committees on Health Appropriations. He emailed me just about 20 minutes ago. What do you expect to happen with this legislation? Because I can't imagine, especially with the majority that Republicans have in this legislature, that this bill would go anywhere.
Well, okay, and I won't know until the bill actually turns into something. All the bill is now, I was told what it is. It says it's like a forced sunset if we were to do any Medicaid expansion. It says if we do anything related to the affordable, as I call it, the Unaffordable Health Care Act, then it will end in 3 years. Well, that's a great, clever way to go about it. Let's say, okay, if we're going to do it, then it's going to sunset. I don't know that you can sunset entitlements. I need to have the lawyers in the House look at that. I think that's illegal. I don't think you can take away an entitlement, and that's the dangerous part about Obamacare. this Medicaid donut hole, as I call it, that the states were given the option. I'd rather us do like what Scott Walker's doing. There was a great article in the Wall Street Journal last week that criticized what Governor Scott and Kasich are doing and just taking the free money versus what like Governor Walker and Governor Jindal are doing, which is saying we're going to reform Medicaid first, and then we'll see what we're going to do as far as getting flexibility from the federal government.
Right.
I don't want a big hole. I'm more responsible than our governor. Our governor is done running in this state. I don't care if I run for another office or not someday that I'm on. If I do, that'd be wonderful. I don't want to leave Missourians with the bill after I exit the House.
Exactly. And Missourians, I think, would appreciate that very much. What is some of the motivation? I know you said you weren't quite sure as to why Senator Parson would have this motivation to push through this legislation. My friend Tim Carney has a great piece right now up at Washington Examiner discussing how a lot of lawmakers are really getting hammered. They're really getting pushed around by some of these lobbyists. In Missouri, we have the Medicaid Expansion Coalition. You have the Missouri Association of Health Plans. All of these individuals are putting some weight on our lawmakers. Could that be the factor?
Yes, I think, that's part of it. I think legislators are trying to find solutions to a problem that is almost insurmountable if we're just going to throw money at it. And Senator Parson I know him very well. He comes from a rural area, conservative part of the state, but I'll tell you, he's got one of the largest employers in his area happens to be a hospital. And so I can imagine the pressure that he's getting. And you'll be shocked at this. I just heard from another one of our legislators. The Cape Girardeau Chamber of Commerce is considering a vote next week to support the governor's Medicaid bill.
Oh,
that's how bad it's become. A place like Cape Girardeau, which is like a bastion of conservative republicanism in the state. And, Dana, it's because our governor, who won by 60%, he's a clever politician, he is calling this an economic development, job creation bill for Missouri with no hooks and no strings attached. And, folks, if it sounds too good to be true, it is.
Well, obviously, people need to be calling their lawmakers in Jeff City today, and I think that they probably should push back on some of these lobbyist groups because Missourians, and as I said, you're well aware of this, we made our voice really clear twice. No other state has done it twice like Missouri has, and we were the first to challenge all of this legislatively. And here we have these lobbyist groups that are looking to circumvent the will of the people.
Hey, Dana, that's a great point. You know what I've said to that? I've said to the governor, because he didn't run on this. The word Medicaid did not leave his lips for the past 4.5 years till after he was reelected. And now he thinks he's discovered like some treasure chest, which is so wonderful for Missouri. I've said to the governor, let's put that on the ballot. Let's ask Missourians if they want to expand Medicaid or not per your plan, because I know what they think about the rest of Obamacare. I don't think they suddenly decide that this one part, which could put the state on the hook for billions of dollars long term, that they suddenly would like this part and hate all the rest of it. So, but to be fair, let's put it on the ballot, Governor, and no response to that proposal.
Of course. Well, we have our eye on this, and we'll be watching to see where this bill goes and what happens. Speaker Tim Jones, we appreciate your voice out there. We appreciate you speaking out, and I look forward to talking with you again soon.
Thanks, Dan. I really appreciate you having me. Have a great day.
Of course. You too. Take care.